I'm Jarrett Carpenter, this is Future Signal. On this episode, let's dive into why this right here is not the most valuable resource, even though that is what Michael Saylor says.
There is no second best.
If you're ready, let's dive right in. So Michael Saylor has long said that Bitcoin is the most valuable resource. However, we know it's not. And to prove this, let's do a little thought experiment. So the thought experiment goes like this. If I could give you 10 Bitcoin right now, what would you say? You'd probably say, okay, that's pretty sweet. But what if the caveat was that you could only live for a month or a week or even a day? In that sense, Bitcoin wouldn't be the most valuable thing. Or I could give you anything that, quote, has value in this world. You probably wouldn't take it if I were going to take away years, days, months, basically if I were going to take away your life. And that's a super simple thought experiment to say that no, Bitcoin isn't the most precious thing. Housing isn't the most precious thing. A stock isn't the most precious thing. A car isn't the most precious thing. The most precious thing we have is our time. And recently I have been reminded of this in my personal life through things that have happened around me. People have lost people unexpectedly. And it has just made me want to reframe some of the conversation, because I think sometimes, especially in the Bitcoin community, it's like, there is no second best. We must kill ourselves to get this. And it's like, no, in your journey stacking Bitcoin, you should be enjoying things along the way. And this is a reminder to myself as well, because if you're not enjoying it, then kind of what's the point of stacking? We're all stacking Bitcoin to get to a certain place. For some people, they're stacking enough Bitcoin so that way they can eventually buy that house, and they think that Bitcoin is the best vehicle to get there. For some people, they're stacking Bitcoin to be able to basically protect their purchasing power, because they're living in a world where their purchasing power is under threat, because maybe their currency is just not worth as much anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll share right here. This is actually a picture of $1 million bill that I bought when I was in Colombia recently. I'm now back up in the States. It's colder. And I bought this and I got it off a guy, and he said, you know what? This bill was the first time in all South American or Latin American history, or even in the Americas, that we saw a bill that was worth $1 million that was just in retail circulation, that you could just use to buy things. So I had to buy it. I love currency. I think currency is absolutely fascinating. So I bought this. But it's just a reminder that everyone is buying Bitcoin for a different reason. But we should never lose sight of the fact that time is our most valuable resource. It is not Bitcoin. Sorry, Mike Saylor.
There is no second best.
To finish on this, I want to share a personal anecdote. I've recently had my birthday, and before my birthday, around 6 to 8 weeks out, I started talking to people and saying, hey, do you want to come down to my birthday? I live in Colombia most of the time, and I started saying many people who are living outside of Colombia saying, hey, do you want to come down and celebrate my birthday? This is what my plan is. And 4 or 5 people said that they would come, and they started to look at their schedule. And for very valid reasons, they actually were not able to come down. Some of them had work. Some of them could only get off a certain amount of days of PTO. Some of them have kids, and they couldn't figure that out. Some of them strictly just didn't have the money. Like, they just wouldn't work. Some of them, the scheduling just wasn't aligning, whatever reason. The point being, it made me think a lot about my own life. And it made me realize that, well, I have people who I know would, a normal circumstance, maybe if they had 6 months or 3 months to be able to plan it, because it is international travel, to be able to come down and celebrate my birthday. Many people I haven't seen in years, from college friends and other friends I used to work with. I haven't seen in a long time, but I wanted to see them, so I invited them down. And it made me realize this very sobering fact, that while these people wouldn't come down for my birthday, okay, fine. They have honestly super valid reasons. And if I were in their shoes, 6 to 8 weeks for international travel for most people is just not enough time to be able to get your life in order. You know, maybe you have a dog, or maybe you have a cat, you need animal sitting, or you actually have kids and you need to cover that. I get it. But what it made me realize was one of the most sobering things was that while these people weren't able to come to my birthday, they would likely move mountains. And if I were to die, they would come to my funeral in Colombia. Or if I were to die and I were to be buried in Spain, I'm just picking a country that's not in the United States, they would find a way to probably get over there and take the time off, because it would be so valuable. So it was my reminder to myself that I need to show up for more people in their lives today and not in memorandum. Most of the time when someone leaves and they die and they pass on, we are left wanting to say more. We're left feeling like we didn't get to say enough. We're left feeling like, oh, we should have gotten that lunch, or we should have gone on that vacation, or we should have gone to visit that person for their birthday. So I just wanted to make this is a very different episode from many of the episodes I've ever made. It's a really candid look into my life and some of the kind of epiphanies I've been having and thinking about Bitcoin. And just to say that Bitcoin is not the most valuable resource. The most valuable resource you have is your time and what you choose to do with that. Because once again, if I were going to offer you 10 Bitcoin, You wouldn't take it if I said you had to die tomorrow, because then it holds no value. Most of us are in Bitcoin because honestly we want to spend more time with our friends and our family and the people we love. And once again, this has been so recently strong in my life because a couple people have died recently in my sphere, not impacting me directly as I didn't have a strong friendship with them. I knew who they were, but it's just a reminder that like you need to show up for people. Don't wait until they're gone to make the time to show up for them. Like I said, you know, if you sit in my shoes and you're like, hey, I want everyone to come over for my birthday, and it's not your 25th, your 40th, or your 50th, or one of these big numbers. A lot of people might want to come, but maybe they're not able to come, or they're going to have a reason why they can't come. And I think that if you were to die, though, man, people would show up. And I think that that's sad, and that's a tragedy of our current world where we spend so much time chasing after the money in our fiat minds, right? In our 9 to 5 fiat jobs. And whether you're stacking Bitcoin or not, that's completely your decision. This is not financial advice. But my hope with stacking Bitcoin, one of my hopes is that I get to spend more time. I get to create more time freedom for myself to spend time with family and friends. But I need to remind myself, and I remind you too, if you're stacking, that you need to take time out of your schedule now to start to spend time with the people that you love. Don't put all your money into just stacking Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, what does it matter? What does it matter if you die tomorrow? So anyways, kind of morbid, but kind of serious and definitely to the point. I hope that you do take that as some semblance of life advice on your Bitcoin journey. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. If you listen to a podcast platform, please go ahead and subscribe. Please go ahead and follow us on social media at Future Signal Pod. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.